Actually, Rex has Pure Audio Project, so he's probably not welcome here. Oh, it's crowded. We might have to come back. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
I want to take the opportunity and say a few words that are not typical. We are at an audio show, and as a manufacturer, and I'm coming from the speakers company, you always have the debate that is the same during the design process as during shows. What do you show? Like what presentation do you do? And here, the issue is more to do with the listeners than with us, with the manufacturers. Why? Because if as a listener, you enter a room and you are expecting to kind of test audio features, you are guiding your brain you are guiding your brain to expect for something. So you're already tuned into it. And then if I'll bring as a designer a super beryllium tweeter, put it here, cross it with the speakers, you will hear wonderful high frequencies. You will be happy. The brain will send a message to the body of happiness. You were expecting for more and you got it. But when you go back home and you sit at the evening after you have the speakers for 2 months and you listen to music, you don't guide your brain to be in alert to listen for audio features. You're listening to music. And then the expectation that your body gets as a signal from the brain is more the emotional experience, the joy, how do you feel? And these are two different things. Now I go back to the speakers. We listen to Nick Cave, and I hope you feel that the sound is very organic. It's not pushing anything to extremes. That means I might lose you when you are testing speakers, because you might go enter other rooms and you will be more happy because you are expecting. So it's all about the listening experience and the psychological state of mind. And that's also the diversity in speakers. I mean, there's so many different ways of presenting things. And there are, by the way, design elements here that intentionally are taken in order not to cross this fine line between musicality and audio features, audiophile features. And this model specific, I don't know how you're familiar with us, has a two-way center driver. It has a mid-range driver and a tweeter. And that's the one we pushed towards audiophile experience as much as we wanted, still hopefully not crossing this fine line between organic sound, general, like hearing the complete picture without having single elements attracting your attention. So usually I don't do this speech, but I didn't know you were coming. So,
don't worry, nobody watches.
By the way, questions, if anyone has, I'll be happy.
No, but that's the first adopter of that coax, Zeev Rex, and I think it's fantastic. I've got the 15 coax in my house.
You have the 315?
315 with the coax. Yeah, you sent me when you first put out I've got the option of the coax, and I was like, I'll take it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's easy to swap in. It was nice.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
fantastic speaker.
Thank you for coming when the room is full.
I always feel like you used the word organic before, but I've seen your presentation before, and I always feel like it's restoring. You know, there's something restoring that I feel in my body when I listen to these.
Yeah, well, if I go back and I ask myself, where was the first time that I was aware of this kind of conflict between the two listening experiences, is when I had two models. One was better than the other in every single parameter. Bass was deeper, mid-range was more focused, highs were fantastic. The other one didn't reach this level at all, but I enjoyed it more. Then you start asking yourself, what's happening? You're aware of the flaws, of the non-perfection. But on the other hand, how comes you enjoy it? And if you dig into this issue, our brain is so strong, it is basically manipulated by what we see and what we hear. If I'll open the window here to this side, you will lose the image, the sonic image, because your eyes are stronger. They impose the data on the ears. So suddenly you see it shifted to the left, you'll hear it shifted to the left. Things like this, you know, so the brain is a very important, and that's, I think, well, I recorded, I will be embarrassed if you publish it. I think in the industry, all of us, we entered shops at the time and they give you the A/B test. You can do anything with the A/B test. You can take a single element, push it, and the listener will be happy. Then you come home, you're excited, you hear it twice, 3 times, then you start listening to music and you hear totally different things. So A/B test listening, that's why with reviewers, it's always contradictional, you know. People sometimes come in, they say bass 8.5, mid-range 9, high is 10. So you are not listening to the spec at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody's brain is different.
So
Brain is tricky.
I have a question for you. So these are open baffles, and I've talked to some people here, and they're like, "Man, open baffle is such a pain in the butt, right? Like you got to get your room perfect. You don't have any treatment. You have no treatment, and this sounds, you said it, musical. What's the deal?"
It's a good question. I should have ordered this question.
I can tell it to you later.
No. First of all, we are 10 years in the market, and after few years, I stopped debating with people on the net about what you are asking me about. Bass cannot be played by open baffle, about various things. Our opinions are guided by articles that were written maybe in the 70s. What people did, good people, and they had good measurements, and they took drivers, JBLs, Arctic, whatever, took them off shelf, put them on a board, and played. Measurement-wise, there's a theory. Wave goes here, wave comes back, it cancels. But in practice, this is not the case. Waves are going all directions. The cancellation is not like this. The drivers they tested were not designed for open baffle. This is like the first layer. The second layer is in a box, with the box speakers that are designed in an anechoic chamber. So the designer has a certain vision for a sonic signature. And he designs to get this sonic signature. Now you bring them in the room, the ambience of the room is different, will always be. If there's a match, it's great. There's no match, you have 2 different sonic signatures. Open baffle, you put them, you have no sonic signature that is, you know, kind of shaped by the box. You have the sound as it is played by the membrane, and the room is the one that gives you the general ambience and feel. In your room, at your home, your brain is accustomed to the sound of the room. So when you put open baffles in your room, they will feel natural because they are playing within the ambience of the room. We never did room treatments at shows, and you can see also that the speakers are not too much inside the room. It's all a matter of design and the drivers. The drivers are the critical parts here. You have almost no ability to manipulate the sound. If you get it right, it's working. If you don't get it right, it's not working.
What's the minimum you recommend from the front wall?
2.5 to
2.5
4
feet?
feet. Yeah.
But as you go, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with open baff. As you go farther out, it comes out more, right?
No, not necessarily.
No?
No, if I move it, let's say here,
That's what I think.
the sound stage will grow. But as the sound stage grows again, if you are sitting now in an A/B test, you'll say, wow, sound stage grew. But when sound stage is big, the details sound
Less.
different, they are lost a bit. So it's a matter of taste.
Right.
We had the case that we had very kind of people that you know from shows sitting, we had the quintets, and they took them all the way inside the room. The orchestra sounded as if it is like huge. And I told them, no, bring it back to 3 feet. And it sounded not as big, but suddenly something different happened. Yeah. So it's not a thumb rule. It's not a thumb rule.